No problem. No
All
problem.
right, let's hit go live. Yo, what's up? Happy Friday, everybody. I'm trying to stay positive. You know what? I am positive. I'm having a good day despite waking up with a lot less money in my account. Um, as you guys probably know from yesterday, I got rocked. And then just to put the icing on the cake, the Heat decided to give me a glimmer of hope that they would cover the 9. Even though I didn't deserve it. I saw some people on Twitter like, oh, tough beat there. Like, we didn't deserve that cover. We did not deserve it. But it's all right. Let's put it in the past. Basically, all the winnings we got on Wednesday are now gone. So some of you may not know Matt Modi all the way to the side here. He has his own YouTube channel. He does a lot of prop bets. He does all kinds of stuff, actually. Does a lot of home run props I've been seeing him do lately. So make sure you go follow him on Twitter. And he also, I'm sure he has the YouTube link to his channel on his Twitter account. So
yeah, that's correct. And yeah, that's correct. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, so let's get right into it. Brewers at Reds, and you already know I'm going right back to the big red machine. I'm not letting one loss take me off of them. They've been paying me out for a week now. And remove the simple fact that the Reds have been cashing out plus money for a week straight. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Remove that fact, and you could still make a case that you'd bet the Reds here because it's the Brewers against a left-handed starter. Milwaukee has been trash against lefties this whole season. They're 26th against lefties in the last 14 days, 29th in the last 30 days, 29th on the season. You can make a solid argument that this is the worst lineup in baseball against left-handed pitching. So just for that fact that alone, a plus 140 home dog against the Brewers against a lefty. I mean, that's really all I need to see. And then the fact that the Reds have been playing good baseball is just kind of like icing on the cake. So I'll take the Reds money line at plus 140. That's it for me.
Yeah, I like the Reds here as well. I saw somebody in the comments say that since he sold out today of tickets. So, I mean, I don't know how often that happens in the great city of Cincinnati. So the fans must be pumped for this game. They're going to be up for it. I just don't like backing Corbin Burnes at this point. He's been steadily overvalued. On top of that, he's now lost his last 4 or 5 starts. Milwaukee's just not giving him the proper run support. And, I mean, the total is at 9.5. Harrison pointed that out. It's a bit sus, but I really more so think that's more sus in terms of the Brewers because of the fact that Burnes is starting. So if Burnes is starting, total's at 9.5. I think the Reds are definitely going to get some runs here, even if it's off the tough Corbin Burnes. Milwaukee definitely has been a bit better against lefties lately since they changed up some guys in their lineup. Adame's left the lineup due to injury, and then they also cut Luke Voit, who's a literal atrocity. So that definitely helps the Brewers a little bit, but I don't think it's enough. I think Williamson had 2 tough opponents the last 2 times out. He's a little undervalued. And I just really can't pass up the plus money with the Reds. Brewers bullpen has been horrendous on the road this year. And take out Devin Williams and Payamps, and they're just not a group of arms I trust. So definitely got to ride with the Reds here.
Yeah, so my pick for this game, you already referenced it, is in fact the over. It might. I literally locked it in maybe 10 minutes before we hopped on. I got over 9.5, and I got that at minus 114. That's at all the Canby books, so like Bet Rivers, Barstool. I don't know if you guys have a partnership with any specific sports book, but that's where I got it. It might be it's a little bit juiced, as you mentioned, at minus 114. I didn't even realize all this stuff about the Brewers sucking against left-handed pitchers. For me, I like just the weather at the Red Stadium, Great American Park or whatever it's called, is just so juicy for runs to be scored. It's like there's a website that I look at called Ballpark Pal, which like just analyzes I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Yeah,
We're big fans.
Oh, the site's amazing. The site's amazing. And they have this as like their number 1 game in terms of like positive run differential for runs to be scored. So I basically just blindly tail him when they have like the best yes for runs and no for runs, like the best and worst weather. So I smashed the over on this one, over 9.5. I didn't have any home run props for this one. I just couldn't find any value there. But yeah, the over is one of my favorite plays for the day in this game.
Yeah, Prop Beaver loves ballpark.com. Every time he shows up for work, he's talking about that fucking site.
They just have great sims, man. They just have great sims.
Yeah, they do. They do.
All right, Reds and over. We got 14 more to get through, so let's move right along. A's at Miami. I mean, if you want to throw the Marlins money line in as a parlay piece, but I'm just passing. Obviously, I think the Marlins are going to win, but I mean, I have zero interest in playing the Marlins as minus 195 favorites, especially at home. So I won't even lay the 1.5. Just a pass for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat here. If you did want to play on the Marlins, though, one thing I will say, Cabrera to record a win is at plus 150 on bet 365. I think that has a ton of value. Miami's bullpen has definitely outperformed the A's. Cabrera is much more trustworthy at home. A lefty's going to be facing the Marlins bats. Lots of things lining up for the Marlins there. But personally, I just don't want to play it. So I'd pass or take Cabrera to record a win at plus 150.
So this is a lean for me. It wasn't one of my big plays, but I have the Nerfy in this game and no run first inning. I got that at minus 110. So I was looking into this. There are only 9 teams that have had more that are more positive towards the no run than the yes run, if that makes sense. And the Marlins are the number 1 Nerfy team in the MLB, and then the Athletics are just 500. They're exactly the same in terms of yes and no run first inning. So normally this would be a slam, but the reason why I'm a little nervous is because Cabrera struggles in the first inning, and you don't really have a lot of data on the pitcher for the Athletics, so it wasn't a complete slam for me. But the Marlins are literally I have the stat up here. They're 38-19 in terms of the no run first inning, and the next best team is the Astros at 33-23. So they're above and beyond the highest for no run first inning, and minus 110 isn't really obviously that juiced at all. So they're taking into that account with the pitching matchup. So that's why it was a lean for me, but I went no run first inning.
Yeah, weren't you just saying it was the year of the Yerfy or something? Was that you that was just talking to about that?
Yeah, I don't have any data to support it right now. I need to go look at a few articles and stuff, but I just feel like the Nerfy's a bit dead right now. I feel like the Yerfy's definitely become more prominent with the rule changes, especially with the stolen base stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind Nerfy's if they're priced like that though, whatsoever. Minus 110 or below, sign me up if it's a great matchup. But yeah, I lean more Yerfy's now because everybody has adopted the Nerfy as one of their favorite bets. Just trying to play.
And
it
the books,
more.
Yeah, and the books know that, so they're juicing it. So they know people want to play. I have the data in front of me if you guys want it.
Sure, let's hear it.
Yeah, as I mentioned, there are only 9 teams that have had a no run more than yes run. And then there are 2 teams that are 500, have the exact same. And then every other team, 13 through 30, is positive towards yes run first inning. I mean, they have that more often than not, which is just crazy because you think 6 outs, you should be able to get 6 outs without scoring a run, but it just hasn't been that way this year.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, is because I heard in the beginning you say that the 9 teams were profitable. So maybe you can find some value targeting those specific teams.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I've been trying to do.
All right. Move on to the next game. Doesn't sound like any of us are really crazy about this one anyway.
No.
Cards at Pirates. I liked it a lot more last night. If you watched the video I uploaded last night, I said Pirates money line, and I'm not backing off it. It's just I don't like it as much as I did. I was expecting the line to move the other way. I think when I gave it out last night, it was plus 115. I was expecting it to be around plus 105, plus 110. Instead, it's a public dog, but I knew it was going to be a public dog, so it's not like I got caught off guard by that. The line moved the wrong way for me. It's freaking me out a little bit. I feel like I have great reasoning to back the Pirates, too. I mean, we all know how ice cold the Cardinals' bats have gone. That little 3-week hot streak that they have, it's long gone. That's a week and a half ago. In the last 7 games, they're averaging 2.1 runs a game. They are officially cold. Jack Flaherty, yeah, maybe he's got some good-looking numbers on the road, but I still don't trust him at all. And the Pirates are, in a sneaky way, hitting right-handed pitching, which is weird because in the beginning of the season, when they were hot, they were hitting lefties. Oh, they're 5th in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching in the last 14 days. So this team is hitting righties. And then the fact that the Pirates bullpen has also been outperforming the Cardinals bullpen as of late, I felt like it was a layup, but that can almost play as a negative to me. It feels like too much of a layup, kind of. So I would not bet the Cardinals here, but this is not one of my favorite bets of the night.
Yeah, it's public, but I mean, I'm rolling with it. When the Cardinals are cold, I mean, just fade them. There were multiple times where the Cardinals were being priced like they were one of the best teams in baseball during their slump in the beginning of the season, and it was just a cash parade fading them every single game. And even if this is public, I just hate the split for Flaherty here. He's on the road against lefties. I just checked the lineup. They're not starting 5 lefties. They're starting 6 lefties. And that's really concerning for a guy that's got a 388 WOBA and a 194 whip against them on the road. As Kyle mentioned, the Pirates' bats have skyrocketed skyrocketed to 5th in WRC plus over the last 2 weeks. I think they had a few runs here with the weather conditions going on there. Roansy Contreras, not my favorite guy to back. I feel like every time I back him, he screws me sideways. But, I mean, here's the thing I'll say with him. Yeah, his home numbers look a lot worse on paper, but he also, in those home starts, had 2 dominant starts against the Reds and the Dodgers of 12.2 innings of one-run baseball. So we know that he can perform at a high level. He did really solid against the Cardinals earlier in the season at St. Louis. And the previous time he faced the Cardinals at home, he pitched 5 innings of one-run ball. I just think that the Cardinals have failed all my litmus tests. You can't hit the Royals, Finn Penn. You can't hit Zach Greinke, who was on the road. I mean, that's just putrid. And then, as I wrote for the end of the video last night, the Pirates' pen has been better in nearly every single aspect in the Cards over the last 2 weeks, better in ERA, FIP, and XFIP. So just at the plus money, I think it's hard to pass up here.
Yeah, so for mine, we were just talking about it. I have yes run first inning in this one. That's I got it at minus 115. You mentioned how cold the Cardinals bats have been, which is true, but these are the number 1 and 2 most common yes run first inning teams.
Wow, I would not have guessed that. Would not have guessed that.
Yeah, and even recently, like the yes run first inning has hit in 2 straight Cardinals games, and it hit yesterday for the Pirates. Obviously, if they played each other, I'm not sure if they played yesterday or not, but regardless, it's hit 2 straight for the Cardinals and it hit yesterday for the Pirates, and literally the 2 most common European teams in the entire MLB. So like the over in the Reds game, it's my favorite play. This is my second favorite play of the night. I also have a home run prop just to do a shameless plug. I've been cold the past 2 days, but I've been hot overall. And
I saw you were up like 17 units in home run props or some shit like that.
It's been 18 overall, but I'm down 11 the past 2 days. Because, I mean, home runs, obviously, like the best player has like a 30% chance to hit a home run. So that kind of happens. But I've been hot, crazy out overall. My home run prop is Nolan Gorman. I got him at plus 370. He started off the year pretty hot. He's kind of been cold recently. But like you mentioned, Roansy Contreras, I think is pretty gettable. He's only got 4 at-bats against him in his career, but he's got 2 hits off of him, no home runs. He's got 13 on the year, and that's including not hitting one in his last 9 games. So you don't love to take a bet when the players do, but I do think that he's got a good opportunity in this one. Young players going through kind of a cold spell. I'm not really too concerned off of it.
Yeah, so, I saw the one dude that commented on your tweet, like, if people don't just understand that home run props are a pretty volatile market, like, you have to like understand what you're betting before you get into it.
Yeah, and that guy actually responded and said that he was kidding. He's like, I was being sarcastic. It just didn't come through, so I felt kind of bad. But I was like, I still think that message is important because exactly what you said. The message is important to get out there. Like you're betting on home runs. Like it's incredibly high variance. So we were profitable 5 straight days, and you're just never going to be able to keep that up. So being down the past 2, that's to be expected. And it's one of those things where like you give out 5 picks and you get 1 to cash, and you're making money. So some days you're going to go for 5, 0 for 4, whatever it may be. Yeah,
I've done that too, where I like snap on somebody in the comments. They're like, "Oh man, I was just playing. I'm a big fan." I'm like, fuck, my bad.
You're like, "Oh, my bad."
Next game, Phillies at Washington. Prop Beaver talked me off of the bet here. I'm still putting it up there. I don't care. That's money line at plus 160, but I do admit it's dripping with like. I don't want to use the word trap, but it's dripping as in like, why is it plus 160? I just feel like everything points to a Nats victory except for one glaring fact, and I'll get to the glaring fact at the end. But Josiah Gray having an excellent season, facing a Phillies lineup they just scored 3 combined runs against the Mets. They're 27th against right-handed pitching in the last 2 weeks. This Phillies lineup that has hit righties well this whole season is slumping against right-handed pitching right now. Also, if you want to get into the splits, this is prop beaver stuff, but he's got some shaky numbers against left-handed bats, so that's a little bit of an angle for the Phillies because the Phillies have a lot of strong lefties in their lineup. But on the other side, you got Zach Wheeler, who is always fadeable on the road. His good road start that he just had at Atlanta, you can kind of ignore that one because for some reason that dude always pitches well in Atlanta. Nats are second in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching in the last 2 weeks. They're hitting the shit out of righties. They're also 5th in WRC plus at home. So at home against a righty who has a history of struggling on the road, everything points to the Nats at plus 160. So why am I not hammering the hell out of it? Why am I betting it so light? Because Zach Wheeler just always comes into Washington and beats these guys. He's won his last 4 trips there. And this is Zach Wheeler, who has a history of struggling on the road. Clearly doesn't struggle in Washington, And we said the same thing when we bet the Phillies against the Braves. Like, oh, this guy just comes into Atlanta and beats them. He's won 4 straight trips here. So everything points to the Nats. So I'm going to bet the Nats very light, but I can completely see why the line is where it is.
Yeah, for this game, I would probably go Zach Wheeler under 5.5 Ks. Let me go ahead and look at the best price for it now. But the main reason I'm going to do that is he's gone over 7-11 starts this year. Seems like a very suspect. That's at plus 100. Seems like a bit of a suspect total. But, I mean, these Nats really just don't strike out. If you look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6 righties to face the Nats, they've gone under. And 5 of those guys went under 4.5, nevertheless 5. And then on top of that, me and Modai talked about it earlier. I love me those ballpark.com sims. And right now they got him projected for just 5.1 Ks today. And they're also suggesting that his line for over 5.5 should be at plus 148. It's at minus 124. So saying that there's a lot of value on the under. On top of that, if you just look at some of Wheeler's unders this season, 3 against Arizona, they're in the top 10 of K percentage against righties. 5 against Boston, they're in the top 10 of K percentage against righties. 5 at Chicago, again, top 10 K percentage against righties. So he hasn't been striking out these teams that have great discipline. And then another thing that I was looking at is the fact that he doesn't really have great K history against these Nationals. Let me pull it up real quick.
So when you say top 10 in strikeout rate, you're talking about teams that are good as far as strikeouts, not bad, right?
It's always confusing to word. Some people word it as like bottom 10 because they're lower, and I word it as top 10 because that means they're showing discipline good. Right. Bottom 10 is bad. That's how I look at it. So yeah, if you just like look at his recent starts against the Nats, he had 7 Ks the last time out, right? But then before that, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4. So he's steadily gone under this total against the Nationals. We're getting it at plus money. He's on the road. He's going to face 6 lefties. He sees a near 9% drop-off in K percentage against lefties. I think at the price, it's a 50-50 shot, and I'll take my chances there.
Yeah, as you can tell probably from my background and everything, I am a Phillies fan, and I feel like I have no idea what to expect from this Phillies team. Like the second you think they're going on a run, they struggle. The second you think, oh, you just fade them, they go on a run. So like I really have no idea what to expect. I sat out pretty much anything on this game, but I do have a home run prop, and I got Kyle Schwarber at plus 250 to hit a home run. It's no secret that he's been terrible. He's batting like I think 160 at this point, but he's really bad against left-handed pitchers. And plus 250, I think is what it was. And sorry, I saw you struggling with that. I wasn't sure if I misspoke.
Well, I went to type 160 and I was like, wait, he said his batting average was 160. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. All good. And yeah, I mean, he's still at least got, I think 14 home runs in the year. So even though he either hits a home run or he strikes out, which is your favorite player to bet on, because you either bet on the pitcher strikeouts or you bet on him to over 1.5 bases or to hit a home run. It's a little bit risky against Gray, who's like basically the Nats' best and only good pitcher, except for maybe like Mackenzie Gore, I think is fine. But historically, Schwarber and the Phillies have owned June, which I don't really know what to make of that, if that's kind of just noise and not anything you can actually like an actionable betting advice. But like even before Schwarber was on the Phillies, he owned June. The guy just goes on a tear. I don't know what it is. The second the weather gets a little bit hotter. So plus 250 is one of the lower odds. It's not as juiced as you would like a home run prop, but I'll ride it plus 250. Obviously, I'm putting low units on these. So that's my play for this one. But I sat out anything else. I just have no idea what to expect from the Phillies.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the slumping against righties. That was what was keeping the Phillies competitive early, was their success against right-handed pitching. And if that's going, there's not much to believe in with this team. I'm sure it'll come back, like you said, though.
Yeah, I mean, against the Mets, they had one game where they didn't even get a runner on second base. It was like just a putrid performance against the Mets.
Yeah, Mets. All right, next game, Tampa at Boston. I love Boston. I'm on Boston here. I don't know what the best line is right now. What can we get this at right now?
We got it at plus 125 on the ticket. I think was the best odds at bet 365.
I can find that for you. Give me one sec.
Thank you. I'll put
Red Sox money line best offered at plus 130.
Ooh, I would love an extra 5 cents. Thank you. Boston money line plus 130.
It's on WinBet. Sorry.
Oh, I don't even have that one. Whatever. I'm keeping it on the screen. So pretty short description here. We're talking about Tampa on the road, and I think I've said it like 3 of my last 4 videos on YouTube. This Rays team on the road is vulnerable, and they're still getting priced like they're the best team in baseball because the record says they pretty much are. But Tampa's just 5-9 in their last 14 road games. And they, like I said, they continue to price this team based on their record, and I'm sure people are betting them based on their record, but they're just not producing. And on the other side, we remember how hot the Red Sox bats were about, I guess that was 2-3 weeks ago. We rode the shit out of those hot bats. Then they disappeared, but you know what? They scored 21 runs in that 3-game series against Cincinnati. So if the Red Sox bats are back, and that's a big if, I'm not willing to declare them back, but if they are, this is a layup plus money cash because the Rays bats on the road are not hitting like that. And one last thing, I'm not scared of Tyler Glasnow yet. Maybe in 2 or 3 more starts, he'll terrify me. He was fucking sick when a couple years back before he got hurt. I know he's capable of being insane, but I'm not scared of him right now. He's got to prove it to me first. So plus 130, hell yeah, I loved it at plus 120. So yeah, Boston, and everyone's on Tampa too. By the way, let me blow this up for a second. Everyone's betting Tampa here, so that obviously boosts my confidence level a bit.
I love to see this from the comments. They're starting to come around with the fading Tampa on the road thing. I mean, y'all were killing us during those Cubs.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that y'all are coming around. Kyle really talked me onto this one. I was ready to pass. I was like, oh, I don't want to bet Boston. I don't want to bet Tampa. But then when the Red Sox went on that absolute explosion in the, I believe it was 7th or 8th inning, something kind of sparked in my head. I don't really think Boston needs to win the first 5, the first 6, maybe even the first 7. I just think they could get to the Tampa bullpen late. A Tampa bullpen that has been disgustingly bad over the last 2 weeks, over the last month, over the last century borderline. This bullpen has really been terrible. And yes, these Tampa bats just continue to underwhelm on the road against righties. It's now been the last 10 of 12 righties to face Tampa at their own crib have held them to 2 or less runs. And while Garrett Whitlock is not my favorite starter in the world per se, he's been a ton better at home as a career starter. He's got a 3.38 ERA, 2.80 WOBA at home, and a 3.43 FIP. So he has impressive metrics at home. He's facing a Rays lineup that's, as I can say it a million times, underwhelming. And I think this really comes down to the bullpen battle. Boston's bullpen is starting to round into form. Rays is falling apart nearly every single game. So at the plus price, it's so hard not to take Boston. Got to ride with Boston here.
Yeah, I feel like the Rays are one of those teams where like they went on that hot start, so people just look at their record and just assume that they're still as good as they were. But my play in this one, I have another yes run first inning. I got that at minus 115. The Red Sox are the 3rd most often yes run first inning team specifically at home. They're 20-9 in terms of yes run at home, and they're only 12-15 on the road. And this isn't everything, but you just look at those 2 pitcher ERAs on the screen and you kind of understand why it's a little bit juiced at minus 115. But this is me more so betting that the Red Sox get a run in the first inning because I'm with you. I don't trust Glasnow yet. I think it was the World Series year when he was incredible, but he got hurt and he hasn't quite gotten it back yet. So I wish I could bet specifically like on the Red Sox scoring in the first inning. There's probably a book that offers that, but I'll take it a little bit safer in case the Rays get one to go yard. But yeah, this is another Yurfie pick for me.
Did you say Boston's 20-9 to the Yurfie at home?
Correct.
It's a hell of a hit rate. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah.
You know, I need to use. Do you use EV Analytics to track that kind of stuff?
So I use the websites. I literally just Googled because I for the life of me couldn't find specific pitcher Yurfie and Nerfie stats. So what I'm looking at for these team stats, I literally just Googled it and it's called stats.sportschatplace.com. I've never heard of the website before.
It's that Mitch owns that. Mitch from Pick Dogs, he owns that. That's his site.
Really? I mean, it's an incredible tool. In terms of I tried for the life of me to find specific pitcher stuff when I can't. So I just use Baseball Reference and you can look at ERA by inning. I don't remember these 2 specifically, but that's another website that I use for Yurfie stuff.
Cool. All right, next game. Blue Jays at Mets, and I'm taking the Mets. Definitely. It's not so much. I think we got it at minus 135. It's somewhere in between minus 135 and minus 140 on pretty much all books. So wherever you're betting it, you're going to get it somewhere in that range. This is not so much a backing of Verlander because I know a lot of people are a little scared to back the Mets here because Verlander has been wildly inconsistent. I think in his last 5 starts, he's got 2 bad ones and 3 good ones. So it's like, it's a dice roll. But it's not, I'm not betting on Verlander. I'm betting against Chris Bassitt in this spot. And these are actually Prop Beavers numbers. Check this out. So Chris Bassitt's numbers against left-handed bats on the road this year: a 5.08 WOBA, a 4.5 home runs per 9 innings, and a 9.57 FIP. This is insane. He's throwing home run derby to lefties on the road. And the Mets, 5 of their first 6 batters in the lineup are lefties, and there's some damn good ones. Add on the fact that the Mets have just caught fire against right-handed pitching recently. They're one of the best lineups in baseball against righties right now in the last 2 weeks. And it's a revenge spot, and Chris Bassitt has a bit of a history of being a bit of a head case. I just think this is an explosion waiting to happen. Even if Verlander struggles a little, and maybe he does, we all know Toronto's lineup is capable of putting some runs on the board. But even if he struggles, I could see Bassitt giving up 6 here in 3 innings.
Yeah, definitely on the Mets with you. You pretty much said everything I need to say about that one. My only other play that I would do here is Justin Verlander under 5.5 Ks at -106 on Barstool. Trust me, I love Verlander. I respect the guy. But last year, I actually had a lot of success fading Verlander in the K department because a trend I noticed is that every time he faced his fellow division rivals in the AL West, the guy would go off with the Ks, 10, 9, 8 Ks. Every other time where he had to face opponents outside of his division, he tended to struggle. Now he's going to face a Toronto team that has consistently been one of the best in plate discipline. I mean, the last 5 or 6 righties to face Toronto have gone under their total. We saw Freddie Peralta with only 3 against them, a very high K guy. Aflin managed 0 off them. I know because I bet his over 6.5 Ks that day. And then also Louis Varland had 3 Ks against them. So those are some pretty good guys struggling to register Ks against this lineup. And Verlander's gone under 4 or 5 starts just averaging 5.5. Maybe last year this would be a bit of a crazy number, but this year I think it's right on par. His CSW is very, very low. It's been below 25% in 3 of his starts, and below 20% in 2 of his last 3 starts. So he's just not registering many whiffs. He's not getting many strikes called. And personally, I just think that this is a nice spot to fade him at a low vig at -106. Is it a bit scarier fading him at home? Yes, but I'm willing to do so here. This is another one that ballparkpal.com likes for the under.
Yeah, I promise this is my last one. I have yes run first inning in this one as well. You guys basically made the argument for me with Bassitt and Verlander struggling. I feel like people see Verlander and they just get scared off and they don't realize that he really hasn't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the odds are -105. Yeah, -105. And I think they just haven't really put it together that he's been struggling. And it's not like a Scherzer thing where you look at his overall ERA and you're like, oh, he's been struggling. But Scherzer has kind of gotten it together recently, especially against the Phillies. The dude was just dealing. Verlander gave up 6 runs against Colorado in 5 innings last game. And then Bassitt, you already made the case for me. I think he's probably going to get shelled. And I also have a smaller play, half unit play on Bo Bichette, 2+ hits. That's pretty juiced at +175. The guy led the AL in hits the past 2 years. He leads the MLB in hits this year. And I just feel like he's probably going to hammer Verlander for a couple. He just needs to slap 2 singles when he get this one to cash. So for +175, I really like that one.
Another thing I saw earlier today was that Bichette actually last 2 years and this year leads the MLB in foul balls. This guy's just a contact machine.
Just gets contact.
I didn't even think foul balls got recorded.
Everything gets recorded in baseball.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's not I don't have a ton of faith in Verlander. This would actually be a Yurfie I would tail. I don't like the first inning bets because I don't like my night being ruined, or like I don't like to be in a bad mood by the second inning.
That's fair. But yeah, I feel the opposite. I really only watch Phillies games, so if I could watch 1 inning of a game and then not need to think about it, that's why I do like it.
You're right. I mean, if you hit, having the positive energy throughout the night is like. But
yeah,
let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Mariners at Rangers, a little bit of a division rivalry game here. And my angle is the first 5 over 4. So basically, both these pitchers are coming off some hot starts. John Gray has thrown 4 consecutive gems, and Luis Castillo is coming off back-to-back just awesome starts. So my angle is why I think both of these pitchers. Oh no, it's first 5 over 4, isn't it? I put 5. I think it's 4.
Yeah, it's
4
4
at minus 110.
At minus 110, right? Okay. So basically, I'm just going to give you a couple quick reasons why I think each of these starters are going to get hit up today. First of all, Luis Castillo. He had 2 great starts. They were against the Pirates, which he historically owns. He owns that franchise dating back to his years with the Reds when he was in that division. So he dominated the Pirates. He always does. And then his other great start was against Oakland. Not throwing the guy a parade for these 2 starts. Now he's in a division rivalry against a Texas Rangers team that just hit him up the last time he saw him, and a Texas Rangers team that's 3rd in WRC plus against right-handed pitching in the last 14 days. This is a much different situation for Luis Castillo. If you've watched me on YouTube, you know I'm not the biggest Luis Castillo fan. I think he's a high-end SP2. And I know that's controversial. We actually argued about that. No, you agreed with me, though. You agreed with me.
Yes, I think I.
Yeah, so I think he's like a high-end SP2. But anyway, so I think the Rangers get a few off him. And on the other side, it's hard to argue with John Gray's numbers. I mean, in his last 4 starts, he's got a 1.00 ERA. Literally a 1.00 and an 0.78 whip. He's been on fire. But he has terrible career history against Seattle. On his lifetime, he's 1-3 with a 5.79 ERA. And you could make the argument that the Mariners' bats are inconsistent, which they are. I'd be the first one to make that argument. I'm always talking about how I don't trust this lineup. I mean, Mariners under wins was one of my favorite offseason bets. That being said, they always seem to show up for this rivalry. In their last 8 games in Texas, the Mariners are averaging 5.3 runs per game. So say what you want about the lineup. They seem to show up for this particular matchup. So first 5 over.
I was looking in the comments and somebody was saying back-to-back awesome starts. Did you not see what my Yankees did to him? But I don't really know what that's in reference to. So I'm just gonna ignore that one. Yeah, I like the first 5 over here. This is what I sent over to Kyle last night because I really do like it. I just think it's a regression spot for both pitchers. Yeah, John Gray's on a bit of a warpath, but I don't really think he faced the best of competition during this span. And he also has some really concerning history against Seattle. I mean, if we look going back to last year against Seattle, the guy owns a 5.79 ERA, 1.4 whip, and a 2.7 home runs per 9. He pitched a gem against him 4 starts ago, but that's a complete outlier to his history against his team. I know that the Seattle bats are inconsistent. I plan on tons of comments coming in saying how you gonna ride with the Mariners bat, but for some reason, this team just always shows up when they go to Texas. In the last 8 trips to Texas, the Mariners are averaging 5.3.
We just said the same exact thing. I just said that.
I'm sorry. I was looking for my notes, so I was lost in the sauce. And yeah, well, that's the problem with when I send you my notes for a game is because now it's like, oh, well, I gotta sift through what you said.
Well, that's the thing. And someone said before, all Beaver does is tail Kyle. He works 5 feet from me, and he'll be sitting here until about 2 a.m. tonight. So we're going to look through all tomorrow's games together. So yeah, we both have like the similar notes because we're looking at this shit together. That's why that is. And I happen to go first on the show because my name's on the channel, so I get to go first. But that's why our notes are similar all the time because we handicap the games together.
Yeah. Did you mention Castillo's splits against lefties on the road?
No, I cut that part out because I thought it was some bullshit.
Well, I can. Okay, dickhead. Well, he's got a 3.96 WOBA, a 2.3 home run per 9, and a 6.28 FIP on the road against lefties. Pretty damn concerning when you're about to face 6 of them, and those 6 guys are part of one of the most potent lineups in the MLB. I just like the play. I love it. I think it's sharp. Give me the over.
So I'm going to go a little bit oppo from you guys. This is my second and last nerfy for this one. It's minus 120, so it is pretty juiced. You mentioned that the pitchers, what I looked at, so both of these teams kind of do hit the Yerfie more, but Luis Castillo has only given up 3 runs in the first inning so far this year, and John Gray has only given up 4 runs in the first inning, and that's in 10 innings pitched, and Luis Castillo 11. So I mean, backing 2 stud pitchers is kind of a square thing to do, and it's a lot of times doesn't always work out that way, but this time I just thought that it was too good to pass up. So this is my second and last nerfy play for today.
All right, we need some more disagreements. That's the problem. I think the show has suffered a bit because we work together and do the notes together at night. Last year, it wasn't like that, and we were like fighting on the show every day. So,
dude, I'm trying to put together a cohesive ticket.
Well, I mean, because now if we disagree, we work it out. Like if we disagree on tomorrow's games, we'll be talking about it all night, and then we'll come to a common ground. we'll either pass or we'll like find a bet that supports both our angles, kind of a thing. Maybe a team total over. We'll find something. We'll come to a common ground, and it takes away the arguing part of the show. But I think it produces more accurate results. But the arguing is fun. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, I get that. Me and my buddy used to do a show together, and we used to have shared notes. And then we stopped doing that because like I would read his and like, oh, that's a good point. And then so now whenever when we used to do it, we would all have our own separate notes. So that's why we would never have the same agreement and stuff like that. So, and if we do have an argument, then it like happens literally live because we don't know what the other person thinks.
Yeah, I think that makes for a better show, to be honest. Toast. This is Seattle's 5th time seeing gray since last year. All right. All right. Next, Angels, Astros. I went with the. Well, actually, this was more. I'm gonna let Prop Beaver talk because this is actually his pick, but we both kind of backed off it. I said on YouTube, Angels first 5 money line. It was at -105 when I said it last night, but actually, this is a pass for me. So I'll put it on the screen, but this is more of a pass for me. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason I like the Angels through the first 5 is that, Valdez, stud all year as expected. Really nothing to take away from the guy there, but he just hasn't been getting rewarded for it. Through 7 home starts, the Astros are just 2-5 with Framber on the mound. Now facing an Angels team that smashes lefties, 4th in WRC plus against lefties over the last 2 weeks and on the season. And I know that my boy Framber has some pretty incredible history against the Angels, but that's not so much the case if you isolate that to Houston. His last 3 home starts against the Angels, he's 1-1 with a 7.04 ERA, 2-1 WHIP, and a 1.8 home run per 9, which is pretty gross. And I just think regression is going to swing the Angels' way here, considering he just shut them out in his last start against them at LA. He's coming off 2 dominant starts against the lowly A's. I see this as a bit of a sell high spot on Valdez, as crazy as that sounds. On the other side, it's Ohtani, and it's very rare we're ever going to see this guy as an underdog. He has excellent recent history against the Astros. Last 5 starts against them, he's 3-1 with a 1.68 ERA, 0.93 WHIP, 0.3 home runs per 9, and he flat out has dominated this lineup. With him coming off his worst start against them since 2020, just 4 starts ago this season. I'd like him to snap back into his untouchable form and shut down Houston. Astros have a huge edge in the bullpen, so if you want to take the full game, I don't blame you with the Astros, but I'm just going to isolate this to the first 5 and take the Angels' first 5 money line at +100.
So my play for this one, it's a smaller play. It's a strikeout parlay with both, obviously, the 2 starting pitchers. It's Framber, 7+ strikeouts, Ohtani, 8+ strikeouts, best offered at +282. One of my favorite things to do, and I don't really have a ton of math and analytical stuff to back this up, but whenever 2 stud pitchers go up against each other, I swear they fire each other up and they strike out more than normal. I swear that's a thing. I forget who the 2 pitchers were, but I did that like a week or 2 ago, and it was like +250 in a cash. Just literally 2 strikeouts, or 2 pitchers, whatever their strikeout prop is, just parlay them to go over. So that's what I'm doing in this one. Again, it's like a small half unit play, but it's one of those things where like 2 stud pitchers go against each other, take both their strikeout props over and see what happens.
Sounds good. That'd be a fun game to watch. I love love a pitcher's duel, man. I'm old school.
Yeah, nothing like it.
Yeah.
Until Sale got hurt yesterday, Green and him were going at it with it.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hunter Green's a legend for cashing that yesterday. My God.
Yeah, like I'm the only one who that Chiefs Rams game in Mexico that was like 54-51. I was like, this game's trash, man. What are we watching? The biggest play of the game's a punt. We can just cruise right past this one for me. I don't even know who the pitcher for the White Sox is. What's his name? Olsen? Yeah. No, I don't care. Next for me.
Yeah,
this
I don't have a play on this one either.
Yeah, this game's about as enticing as a Gordita Crunch shit. That's what this looks like to me. It's absolutely disgusting. Whenever you're entertained betting this game, it's just weird because Olsen, he was in AAA and the dude was doing terrible in AAA. He's now coming out about to make his first start, which is scary. But the least scary thing I think in the world right now is the White Sox bats. So have no interest in that. And then on the other side, you got Clevenger, who's been shaky on and off this season, and he's coming off an injury, his first start since that injury. Big.
Yeah, I don't have really much to add. Clevenger, I feel like, hasn't been himself since like 3 years ago when he was on the Padres, and like both the Padres starting pitchers got hurt. Yeah, I got nothing for this one.
Yeah. Next, Rockies at Royals, and this is another one that I really liked last night, and I still like it, and I'm still betting it, but I thought this was gonna be like my play of the day. I like the Rockies, but I don't like how this line's not moving at all. I think, what do we get it at, plus 105 or plus 108 or something? Plus 105?
108.
108? Okay, cool. I want those extra 3 cents, man. All right. So Rockies money line plus 108. I mean, this is a simple description. I don't even have to go to my notes, but I will. The Royals are now 0-11 in Jordan Lyles' 11 starts. 0-11. They've yet to win one. They finally gave him run support in the last one against Washington. Still found a way to lose. Jordan Lyles, man. I mean, it's like plus money against Jordan Lyles, who has lost every single game. I don't know if we need to go any deeper than that. I will add that Chase Anderson has pitched very well in his 3 starts with the Rockies. Obviously, oh man, the graphic says 0.0000 ERA. We must have messed that up. He has like a 1. He has a damn, I didn't write his ERA down.
It's a 1.31. He's 0-0 with a 1.31 ERA. Action, for some reason, doesn't provide the right stats for Chase Anderson. It's because he's an anomaly.
And it's because Action Network's a bunch of dirtbags. I'm just kidding, Action Network, if you watch this. Anyway, so yeah, Chase Anderson does have really good numbers. He has 3 starts in Coors Field and like Proppy Reset a 1.31 ERA. Even if you don't trust him, you deserve at least a tip of the cap for that. So I'll take the Rockies, but seems pretty public, a pretty square way to go here.
Yeah, Jake from the comments. I don't know if anybody answered your question yet, but the top of the chart, the first 4 circles, those are the bets, and then the bottom 4 is the money that are coming in on those bets. Sorry. Maybe we should put a little thing that signifies that going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pass here because, I mean, what the hell is this line? Jordan Lyles at the cribbo. Even if he's at the cribbo, the guy is just truly pitiful. And the Rockies' bats against righties were great until that all of a sudden they head into Arizona and can't hit for shit. They just got swept by a division rival. Now this should be a little bit of a breath of fresh air facing, obviously, Jordan Lyles and the Royals lineup that aren't great, but it just seems too easy, and I'm not down with that. Chase Anderson this year looks great. Congratulations. Look at his previous 3 seasons, and you would think of this guy as Patrick Corbin-esque. He had like a home run per 9 above 1.8. He had ERA steadily for 3 straight seasons above 6. Like, this is just not a good pitcher. I don't know what the hell is going on thus far that he's having such much success, but he's ripe for regression. I'm not doing it, Pat.
I don't know what. There was no reason to take a shot at Patrick Corbin there. There was just no reason.
Just catching a stray.
I know that's your boy.
Yeah, because he keeps cashing first 5 bets for us.
I got nothing for this one as well. I honestly, nothing really enticed me. No home runs, nothing.
All right, let's cruise on to the next one then. Guardians at Twins, and this is my pass. Maybe you guys got something I don't. You know what? I'll put Cleveland or pass on the screen. I wouldn't back Minnesota at this price. I would like to know if that guy Naylor is playing for the Guardians. We were pissed because we bet Cleveland yesterday and then find out what right before the game he's not playing. So I was a little pissed at that, but I wouldn't bet Minnesota at this price. I'd say Cleveland or pass.
Yeah, I think my play for this game, if I had to make one, be Savale over 4.5 Ks. The juice continues to climb there, but that would be at minus 128. I know it's a bit risky taking a guy back from injury. Usually not my favorite spot to back a guy, but these Minnesota Twins are just striking out on a different level right now. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of 9 righties to face the Twins have gone over their K mark, and most of the guys are hitting 6, 7+ Ks. I know Aaron Savale isn't the biggest K-ster, one could call him, but he made strides in terms of striking out guys last year. He had a career-high K to BB percentage, and now he's facing a Twins lineup that he actually has some great history against. So if we go to Aaron Savale versus the Twins as of late.
Was he a K-ster?
He must have been a K-ster back then because he's gone over this mark his last 3 or 4 against them, 8, 9, 4, 5 Ks. So he has very solid history hitting this line against the Twins. And I feel like
sorry to cut you off.
Disrespectful.
Sorry, someone in the comments saying Twins are missing guys in the lineup tonight. Did we see that?
Oh well, yeah. Kepler and Correa are likely not to play, but at the same time, on the very other page, Josh Bell just got placed on the paternity list. He's not going to play. And then who knows if Josh Naylor, with his wrist soreness, goes out and plays today as well. So this is just the ultimate pass for me.
Yeah, all I had for this one was a home run prop. It was Jorge Polanco plus 480. Admittedly, the game's a little scary for home runs. We just look at the 2 pitchers' ERA. I'm not sure I trust Savale yet. Like, he's got 2 starts, got like 11 innings on the year. Wasn't like he was phenomenal prior in his career, prior to this start. So I'm a little bit skeptical there. Polanco just missed 2 weeks due to injury, just came back yesterday. Prior to that, he had been playing well, like 2 home runs in his past 4 games prior to the injury. So that, the only play I really had here was a Polanco home run. Obviously, I put lower unit size on all my home run picks, but other than that, I had nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the most appetizing looking game to bet.
Yeah.
The lineup just dropped from Minnesota. There will be no Buxton, there will be no Correa, and there's no Kepler. Well, actually, no, Kepler is there. Kepler's there, but no Buxton or Correa today.
No Cleveland lineup yet?
No Cleveland lineup yet.
All right. Well, maybe we'll revisit that after the show and hope to see if that's back on. All right, Cubs Padres, and this is, oh man, they're really testing me on this one. So I'll put the under on the screen, but I want to bet the Cubs so bad, but it just makes no sense why I want to do it. I don't know if it's still at plus 100. It was last night when I uploaded to YouTube. Someone wants to do a quick line shot for me on that under for Cubs Padres.
I got you, Chief.
Give me 1 sec. Yep.
I figured you both had it open. That's why.
Under 8.5 plus 100.
Perfect. So it didn't even move from last night. So every single thing points to a comfortable Padres win here. First of all, you got Michael Wacha pitching, who's been excellent. He's looked like a Cy Young candidate in the month of May. 5 starts. He's thrown 32 innings, 3-0 with a 0.84 ERA. He's been absolutely unstoppable. Now he's at home facing a Cubs lineup that's been complete ass. Cubs are 25th in WRC. They've been good against lefties, but they've been trash against righties. Cubs are 25th in WRC plus versus righties in the last 14 days, 28th in the last 7 days. So they're going the wrong way. They can't touch right-handed pitching right now. Wacha should absolutely own the Cubs. And on the other side, you got Jameson Taillon, and you could put his name right next to Jordan Lyles in the auto fade club. Chicago's 0-8 in his 8 starts. And if you look at his numbers in his 5 May starts, good Lord, he's got a 10.90 ERA and a 200 whip. He's flirting with Madison Bumgarner territory with these numbers now. So let me ask you, after I said all that, why am I not hammering the Padres? Why am I not putting 2 units on the Padres at minus 155? Because I hate the spot. They just played 9 straight games on the East Coast. Washington, up to New York, then down to Miami, then had to fly all the way back home across the country without a day off. That's like an auto fade spot. That almost makes me want to bet the Cubs regardless of everything I just said. So I'll take the under. The angle being, hey, maybe Jameson Taillon is able to hold the Padres to 3 runs or less because the bats are flat because of the all the traveling. That's my angle. It sucks because like if this was a normal spot for the Padres without this crazy travel, I would take San Diego minus 3.5. Like this should be a blowout.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bet it personally. I'm going to pass, but I definitely like your angle here. I've seen a ton of tweets today. Padres team total over. Padres first 5 team total over. Taillon over earned runs. All of that. And the line is just simply put very suspect. Go look at Jameson Taillon's earned runs line right now. He's gone over in 7 of 8 games, averaging 3.4. And in his last 4 games, he gave up 4, 4, 6, and 4 earned runs. So why is his earned run line at 2.5 juice to the under at minus 140? I remember a previous example. Hunter Gaddis had the same situation going on. If you looked at his MLB career heading into his second start against the White Sox, the guy had given up over 2.5 earned runs in 5 of 6 starts. They had that juice to minus 150 to the under. And we took the White Sox, and what happened? The guy absolutely dealt. So I don't think Taillon is that bad. I mean, never in his career to this point has he been this putrid. And in terms of the flat spot that Kyle mentioned, I could see the under here. I like it. It's sharp. It's at plus money. Why not?
I like that angle a lot. I honestly didn't know all that about the travel schedule. This is a game I designated for like a juicy home run spot for the Padres. Now I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I had 2 in this game. I had Juan Soto at plus 470 and Matt Carpenter at plus 600. The Carpenter one is obviously very scary because he's been horrible. He's batting 184. He's got 4 home runs.
Oh my God, he's been so bad.
He's been horrible, but at least he has success against Taillon, specifically. He's gone up against him 24 times, batting 292 with a home run. So if he was ever going to find a rhythm in his old age, it would be against Taillon. And then Soto, similar logic, just like Taillon's been terrible. It's like batting practice against him. He's kind of had a bad year as well. He's batting, I think it was like 256, and he's got 10 home runs on the year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 10. He's only got 2 in his last 10, which is like been a weird year for the Padres. It kind of give me like similar like Phillies vibes, where, like their best bats aren't performing that way, not necessarily to the same extent as like Trey Turner and Schwarber, but still something similar to that. But yeah, so Carpenter, Soto, Carpenter to hit home run. If one of them does, obviously we're profiting, and that's what I went with.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no numbers to support a Cubs angle here. It's just it's more just like I don't know. I could see it. I could see the Padres just looking like shit.
I forgot to mention Tyone also has crazy career numbers against the Padres, like very, very good career numbers against the Padres. Yeah, so maybe that works.
Not against Carpenter. Not against Carpenter. He just read them off.
Not against Matty C.
Yeah,
Matty C. He doesn't deserve a nickname this year. He does not deserve a nickname.
It's been so bad.
I couldn't tell you how many. I just accidentally muted myself, I think. I couldn't tell you how many Padres bets I've watched, like 2-2 in the 7th inning, and watching this dude miss with his cuts by 6 inches, like way off. All right, anyway. Braves at D-backs, and I like Arizona if I was forced to pick a side. I do. But I'm a little scared of that. You know, I'll just put both the bets up. I like the first 5 over 5 more. So I'll put that on top. I like this one more, but I'll put Arizona money line as a lean underneath it. And I'll get to why I would do that in 1 second. Let me just get it on the right spot. Okay. So Merrill Kelly's been dealing. We all know that. 5 starts in May, 31 in the 3rd innings pitched, averaging over 6 innings to start, 2.59 ERA and an 0.83 WHIP. Absolute excellent numbers in May. And he's pitching against a Braves lineup that seems to have just fallen off against righties in the last 30 days. They're just 22nd against righties. So this red-hot, mighty Braves lineup is in bottom 10 against righties over the last month. So we're not talking about a small sample size here. But okay, so here's where the concerns start to come in. First of all, Merrill Kelly's level of competition in those 5 starts I was just praising him for. Washington, Miami, Oakland, Pittsburgh, Boston. And the Boston start was last week when the Red Sox bats were in that slump. They scored like 3 runs over 4 games or something crazy. So I don't know how crazy we should go about Merrill Kelly pitching well in May. There's a lot of starting pitchers who are going to have good numbers if you give them those 5 starts in a row. Another thing, so yeah, the Braves, as I just said, have gone cold against righties, but this is one of the best road lineups in baseball, maybe the best over the course of the season, and they're coming off a terrible series. I mean, I don't know, not everyone believes in the whole wake-up call thing, but almost getting swept by the Oakland Athletics, if that's not a wake-up calls don't exist. I can definitely see them being like, yo, guys, we got to get our shit together. Like, we almost just got swept by Oakland. And then Charlie Morton, I love fading Charlie Morton on the road. It's been one of my favorite pastimes for several years now. But that being said, he's got decent-looking numbers on the road this year. He just had an excellent start in Texas. I'm still down. I don't care. It's not going to take away from all the money I made fading him on the road last year. So I like the D-backs, but I could just see the Braves bats showing up after the wake-up call. So first 5 over, definitely, if I had to pick a side, Arizona.
Oh, this is tough, man. I would probably lean with I know Harrison's gonna be like, what? I would go with the Diamondbacks first 5 run line. I would do the alt run line. Yeah. This is the second best. Yep. Yeah. I think this is the second best home team in terms of covering the run line, 18-13 on the season. And Charlie Morton on the road is simply not a guy I trust. I know he's been better this year, but I think regression's right around the corner. On top of that, his splits against lefties are very concerning. Going to face a Diamondbacks lineup that has usually 6 or 7 lefties in their lineup on a regular basis. Last time he went to Arizona, he let up 4 runs through 6 innings. Not the worst start, but I think the Diamondbacks offense is so much more dynamic than it was last year in May of 2022 that they could catch him a bit off guard. And ultimately yes, the Braves bats are better on the road, but I can't ignore what I've seen over the last 10 or 14 days. They truly have been putrid. So that's where I would lean on this. I don't really know what the odds are because I didn't look at it, but if it's like plus 120 or above, sign me up.
Well, there got to be dogs in the first 5. I would imagine their first 5 money line's probably going to be minus 105, if I had to guess.
Plus 130, you could get Arizona minus.
It's a sneaky. That's a
half
sneaky
run.
little bet, guy.
Yeah.
You guys kind of made the case for me. I had the over in this one, over 9 minus 110 odds. With you, pretty much everything you said about not trusting Kelly. With you, everything you said about not trusting Morton at all. He's like far removed from his like Cy Young years back with the Braves a couple years ago. It was a weird series for the Braves, as you mentioned, again against the Athletics. I'm not necessarily ready to just like totally write them off. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see like Olsen and Acuna, just like their big bats go crazy in this one. So over 9 minus 110. That's what I went with.
Nice. Sounds like we're on the same page.
Yeah, you guys made the case for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a positive and negative to going third. You get to kind of clean up everyone's mess if they like left out certain spots, but then sometimes you go and it's like shit. Like, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm good.
Next game is Yankees at Dodgers. Go ahead, everyone. Bet the Yankees. I dare you. Taking the Dodgers 2 ways here. Give me the Dodgers. First 5 minus a half run. I was at plus 100 before we went live. I'm assuming it's still around the same spot. And the Dodgers money line, was it minus 140?
Minus 140. No, plus 145.
Minus 145.
Plus. Oh, I thought you did the 1.5, bro.
Oh, I mean, I'll put it on the screen, but I'm down for either. I wrote down all of them in my notes, so I'm definitely on the Dodgers. I'll put it on the screen. So, Luis Severino pitching for the Yankees. No doubt, he's looked excellent in both his starts this year. He pitched against the Padres and the Reds, so I'm not even going to try to discredit the numbers. 11 and a third innings pitched, 1.59 ERA. Good for you, Severino. Now he's going into LA to pitch against the Dodgers lineup. This is completely different here. Dodgers are second in WRC plus as right-handed pitching on the season, 4th in the last 14 days. They've owned righties this entire year. On top of that, most of the Dodgers lineup have not seen Severino, but the 2 members of the Dodgers lineup that have seen him have pretty solid numbers against them, especially JD Martinez, 8 of 20 lifetime off Severino. Dude's batting 400 off Luis Severino. I think this is a welcome back to earth spot for Severino. I like Luis Severino. I'm in Jersey, so a lot of Yankee folks around here. I think he's good. Just hate this spot for him. And on the other side, this is the main reason for the bet, though. Clayton Kershaw, right? Yeah, he just had a tough month. This is the ultimate buy low spot for Clayton Kershaw. Did a 5.55 ERA and a 1.73 WHIP in his 5 May starts. Looking pretty awful. But something to keep in mind, 4 of Kershaw's 5 May starts were on the road, where he's been struggling all year. So it's not that shocking. If you're going to put Kershaw in a spot where 80% of his starts are going to be on the road, his numbers are going to start looking like that, because that's the kind of pitcher he is at this point in his career. At home, though, 3-1 with a 1.13 ERA. Can't doubt the dude's production at home. Pitching against the Yankees, who haven't really been a threat against left-handed pitching this whole season. On the year, they're 17th against lefties, so pretty middle of the pack. And check this out. This is just weird. Over the last 14 days, the Yankees have 19 total at-bats against lefties. 19. So they have not seen any left-handed pitching recently. Not out of the bullpen, no starters. They haven't seen any left-handed pitching. It's kind of a tough spot to throw these hitters in, send them across the country, and then having seen no left-handed pitching in 2 weeks, now you got to go face Kershaw 3 times. I think Clayton deals. I like the Dodgers both ways. Fuck the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't need to just re-gargle everything that Kyle said. I'm on both of those too. I just think that, as Kyle was saying, Kershaw is a bit undervalued right now. Sure, he's been pretty brutal during the month of May, but I mean, he's faced some pretty tough competition on the road during this span. I think this is the ultimate buy low spot at home against a Yankees team that's only 17th in WRC pluses against lefties on the season, worse than their splits against righties. And then on top of that, I like Severino, but he can be exploited. The Dodgers bats are significantly more potent at home, as well as Kershaw. I just feel like everything's working for a Dodgers domination here. So just going to ride with the plus money on both of those.
Yeah, for me, I had a home run prop in this one as well. I'm going with Max Muncy. You guys kind of made, that was at plus 430, my bad. Yeah, you guys kind of made the case against Severino. He's pitched 11 innings in his 2 starts so far. He's been incredible, but I'm not necessarily ready to just buy him being like that good. He's given up 1 home run in that stretch as well. And Muncy is one of those players who, like, I just feel like he just goes on streaks. He hit 2 home runs in back-to-back, or he hit a home run in back-to-back games back on May 27th, May 28th. He's got 17 on the year. He's one of my favorite players to back to hit a home run, especially. I wish you could bet on like the home run distance, because when he gets one, he just launches it. So Muncy home run plus 430, like you said, Dodgers back at home. That was one of my favorite home run props.
I like that one too. He was hating on, you know what this prop beaver called Max Muncy? He said he's a glorified Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, let's just say he was really bad that one game, okay? And it's not like you were saying very nice things about Trey Turner before he hit the walk-off to cash both of your bets.
I don't have a damn clue what you're talking about.
I thought you were going to call him like Adam Dunn or something.
No, that would be too nice.
Who's the dude on the Orioles that got like $150 million?
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis.
Davis. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, last game. We're at an hour exactly, so we pretty much timed it pretty well. And this is like a quick, short explanation for me here. I'm on the Dodgers. Giants first 5 run line. This is just a straight bet on Logan Webb. I think it was at minus 120, somewhere around there. I don't even know if I line shopped. You might be able to get it at a better price. My estimation is minus 120. Basically, in case you haven't heard, Logan Webb's pitching about as good as anyone in baseball right now. If there was a starting pitcher of the month award for the NL, it would be Logan Webb. Actually, Michael Wacha maybe has been a beast. But anyway, and what I find, I know his last 2 starts were against the Brewers and Marlins, right? And of course, we always got to look at the level of competition. But before that, we saw Logan Webb go into Arizona and shut the D-backs down bad. I'm talking about 7 innings, 3 hits. Before that, he went into Houston, 7 2/3 great innings against the Astros in Houston. So this dude showed us he can pitch against good lineups, bad lineups, home, away. Logan Webb, truly one of the most reliable starting pitchers in baseball right now. I truly believe that. Now, you can't discredit Dean Kramer, though, because we do have a hot starting pitcher on the other side. In May, 3-1 with a 2.45 ERA. And look at who he's picked. Now, this is interesting. I want you to listen to this. So, Dean Kramer, great numbers in May, right? Rangers at Toronto, Angels, Rays at Braves. So, against good lineups, too. But if you take a closer look, and I know I might be nitpicking a bit here. Yes, Texas is solid. He gets that one. After that, Toronto was in the coldest spree ever when he pitched against them. They were scoring at nobody. Before that was home against the Angels. The Angels are really a threat against lefties. On the road against righties, the Angels are not a special lineup to pitch well against. Before that, the home against the Rays. What have we been saying for a week? The Rays on the road against a righty starter aren't shit. So and then after that, at Atlanta, we just got done talking about how the Braves are 22nd, 23rd in the league against righties right now. So on paper, it looks like he's been dominant against good lineups, but you can poke holes in it, is all I'm saying. Giants have been a solid lineup against right-handed pitching this whole season, and I think it's time for Dean Kramer's Cinderella story to come to a halt. Give me the Giants first 5. Oh, that's supposed to say first 5 minus a half run. So first 5 minus a half run. I like the Giants to win the game too, but it kind of got priced out of that. I think I saw it up at like minus 160 now. So I'll stick to the first 5 run line.
Yeah, I saw you in the comments, S-Dot. What's up, bro? I like Webb to record a win here at plus 160. Going to take a bit of a chance here. He's recorded a win his last 3 of 5 starts and has been utterly dominant during the stretch. 1.3 ERA, 2.37 WOBA, 0.3 home runs per 9. I mean, that is just flat out exceptional. And on top of that, nobody in the Orioles lineup has seen the guy with the exception of Adam Frazier. So that should only work into his advantage. On the other side is Dean Kramer. Kyle just pretty much laid it out. I mean, I think Dean Kramer's a little bit overvalued right now, and I think he's due to get hit up. It's a pretty bad spot for Kramer as he has to face 6 lefties. On the road against lefties, Kramer's rocking a 392 WOBA, a 373 opposing batting average, and a 1.89 whip.
Hold on. You say 373 opposing batting average?
Yes. What? Yeah, I was thinking about taking his hits allowed over today. The Giants' bats are heating up lately. They're sitting 14th in WRC plus against righties over the last 2 weeks, 9th over the last 2 days, and during that span, we've seen them hit up some very impressive pitchers. So I think they could get a few runs here off of Mr. Kramer. And the icing on the cake for me is that once Webb leaves the game, I need a bullpen to depend on to close this bitch out and to hold the lead the entire time. Well, as much as I hate the Giants bullpen going back to last year, they are on demon time right now. Over the last 2 weeks, they're first in ERA and first in WOBA. During the same span, the Orioles are 27th in ERA and 25th in WOBA. I know recording a win is a bit tougher than one would think, but I mean, at this beautiful price, I got to take a chance here with Logan Webb at home.
Not gonna lie, that kind of made me like the bet, and I don't even like betting the record to wins that you like, but that was a decent analysis.
I also have a strikeout prop a little bit against you guys, but I have Logan Webb under 5.5 strikeouts. It's best offered at -118 on FanDuel. This is a little bit of zigzag method, which I love to do. Basically, like you look at recent trends and kind of fade them. His last start, he had 11 strikeouts. His start prior to that, he had 7. So he's gone over in 2 straight by a decent amount. So you're asking yourself, like, why is it priced at 5.5 and why is it juiced towards the under? It's because the Orioles just don't strike out against right-handed pitchers. They strike out the 5th fewest times against right-handed pitchers. And to my knowledge, they haven't released a lineup yet, so I can't really confirm who's going to be in there. But if you just look at their players who qualify, they only have one batter who strikes out above 25% of the time, in Gunnar Henderson. That's kind of like my line of demarcation is like the 25% number. I try to look, basically, if you're a strikeout guy, you strike out 25% or more, and they only have one in that in their lineup, depending on who starts. Obviously, this could change, so it's a little bit more of a lean, I guess I would say. But I just feel like a lot of people are going to be all over his strikeouts going over, and I just kind of love to fade the public in situations like that. So I'll bite and I'll take him to go under 5.5.
I like that, Modi, quite a bit. The Orioles have just been absolute wagons all season in terms of unders against righties. Yeah, the last 5 or 6. Against them, they're averaging just 4.1 Ks per game. I mean, we saw like Mitch Keller get 13 against them, but like as much as I love my guy Logan Webb, I don't think he's no Mitch Keller right now in terms of the K stuff. And I do like your angle; it's pretty sharp. So yeah, I'll be rooting for that. Yeah,
that sounds cool. I always like when the line's at a suspect place and you bet the other way. I like it.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I do that. It's like Vegas is trying to trap you.
I've made a career off doing that.
We'll see if I can.
Yeah. All right. So let's do the community parlay and get the hell out of here. If you're new to the show, I'm pretty sure everyone knows how this works. Everyone throw their favorite parlay leg into the comments, and then we will all place a parlay together and lose our money together.
I just want to respond to BMT Seattle. Yeah, I may like the K under, but I could still expect him to win games. Something I've learned more recently than ever is that guys can get absolutely lit up and go over their K marks. And guys could go out there and throw 7 innings of like perfect baseball and still go under their Ks. So I don't really look at that anymore in terms of like, oh, is this guy going to get rocked? Do I want to take his K under? Obviously, that's a little bit of consideration, but like I think both me and Matt could win our bets here at the very same time. I could see 7 innings of 1-run baseball from Logan Webb with 5 Ks leaving the game.
Oh, absolutely. I've already accepted. I don't really do the strikeout props much. Oh, they're starting to come in. But I've already accepted that they're almost not correlated to picking a side or like the result of the game. You can pitch like shit and still get 8-9 Ks or the opposite. So Nats money line, Braves money line, Mets money line. You have the sportsbook open? All right. Let's see where we're at with those, and then we'll add the fourth one I saw was Phillies money. Like, do the Phillies play? The Phillies play the Nats. All right, so
gotta choose one.
Let's take the Nats out. I'm not Dodgers money line, and then Cardinals if we need another one. So take the Nats out. Take the Nats out.
There's also Giants in there.
Yeah, I try to keep go in order, and then like if someone bets the opposite side, it'll cancel it out. Kind of. There's not really a method to it.
All right, so if it's a parlay of Braves, Mets, Dodgers, and Giants, then it's plus 780.
There it is, community parlay that we will lose. Wow. I honestly thought we had the one with when we had calling our shot on Tuesday, and the leg. Do you remember the leg that killed it? Braves lost to Oakland.
Jesus
that was
Christ.
What killed it.
That's devastating.
It was like, I mean, not that this hits at a high rate. I think it's hit 2 or 3 times since we started doing it, which is like 3 or 4 weeks now. So this is not have a good hit rate at all. But it's fun.
I was gonna say at plus 789 odds. What's that, like a 5% hit rate that you need to be profitable, something like that?
Yeah, we're gonna be under that. We're gonna be under that 5%. Oh, actually 5%. We actually might even. I don't even know.
Plus 789, you need to hit at 11 over 11.25%.
We actually might be over that, but it's not plus 7. Sometimes we've had plus 1300s and we've had plus 400. So it's like
even better.
It's impossible to calculate. So yeah, community parlay: Braves money line, Mets money line, Dodgers money line, Giants money line plus 789. All right, it's Friday night. I personally need a good night after last night, so let's send some positive vibes through the comments. Everyone, remember to bet responsibly. And yeah, hit any of us up on Twitter. So make sure, Matt, not only thank you for coming on, but also he didn't even know he was coming on until like an hour and 17 minutes before we started. Toast last minute couldn't make it, and I had talked to him in Twitter DMs before about coming on, and I was like, I'll take a long shot. Can you make it? So, props for being able to come on and go through all 15 games on 77 minutes notice. That was really dope. Thank you, man.
No, I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I mean, it's some of those. I had a pass, so I didn't have analysis for all 15. But no, I mean, anytime you need, anytime you want, just let me know. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Dope. All right, let's have a good night, guys. Everyone, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., and we'll be uploading some shit tonight for tomorrow's game, same as always. Everyone have a good night.